I mean, it seems crazy that there was this huge duplication of effort that became very, very costly. And when you say that there needs to be that same understanding of physical space, it seems very obvious. But in the back of my head, I'm wondering, imagine if everyone came together and they were like, oh no, we've been putting London over there and you've been, oh God.
Yeah.
But it then led on to your Orbis maps.
Yep.
What's special about Orbis maps? Why should we care about them?
So what ultimately happened as a part of Overture, and the fact that now TomTom doesn't have to focus on the base understanding of the world, and there's 40 companies now all collaborating, putting together the base of the world, we can actually focus on advancing further in ADAS, bigger detail, more information. So we have, I don't know if I'm supposed to say or not, but we have over 1 in every 4 vehicles in Western Europe and the US, basically in key areas, we have information coming in from a device. So we have an enormous amount, over 500 million devices every single day giving us information. And so for us, Orbis is built on that, and we're allowed to use all that information now instead of just trying to map out the basic information of the world, but we're allowed to use that to really map out the next level detail that's necessary to enable the autonomy, to enable analytics, to enable a bunch of other things for customers.
I have it in my notes here that you are allowed to share that fact.
Good.
And also the other one that you were allowed to share is 600 million TomTom navigation devices, which are transmitting anonymized data to the company's servers in real time, which is absolutely huge. But obviously you have this phenomenal amount of data coming from these location-aware devices. Obviously the value of that data is dictated by the sophistication of your analytics tools and your AI. But also, what's the end goal? Do we need to continue striving towards these higher and higher definition maps? What's the value of that?
Yeah, so first, right, we talk about the industries changing. One thing that's big in the industries changing is this open mapping now. Everyone collaborating on a base map. The next big industry change is really us being able to change how we think about mapping, because for the longest time, we were mapping for humans to navigate the world. So how does a human get through and navigate the world? And then you could navigate them, say, to a building, and then they can self-navigate to the door. Or if there's a problem with the map, they can self-navigate through it. Now we're building maps for computers to understand their place in the world and navigate through the world. And computers are not nearly as sophisticated as humans. And so we need to add such a more significant amount of detail, information into the map to really help the computer navigate. And in autonomous driving, where it gets super interesting is, so I tell people, why is a map important? Well, would you want to sit in a taxi cab with a person who's driving for the first time from the airport to the downtown center, or would you want to sit in a taxi cab that's been doing it for years, thousands of times? The map embeds, we have thousands of trips every single day between the airport and the city center, and we can embed all that behavioral information so that the car can operate like a human. And that is what ultimately allows it to operate more safely. It allows it to operate through more tricky situations than even a human would have a difficult time getting through the first time. And more importantly, it even allows you to adapt better. So if you stop at the right place a human would stop because of areas that are, maybe a tree has got some weird visibility or something, you're gonna feel safer because it stopped where you would have stopped. If it stops where the computer thinks it needs to stop, you're gonna feel a little unsafe. If it doesn't slow down because your perception, your ability to understand what's happening needs it to slow down, where a computer can actually go really fast. So maybe the computer could safely go faster. You want it to actually drive like a human, and you'll be more comfortable, it'll be more smooth, and so we can build all that into the map, called a behavioral map, on top of the actual laws and restrictions of the map, which also many people don't understand, but there's country level requirements, there's city level requirements, there's so much complexity goes in the map to close those last few % that you ultimately want to have. So.